Hey everybody, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. We're looking at Tom's Homelite XL-101, and this saw was a little unusual in the sense that it came to me running. Tom wanted me to go through it, just check it out, give it a good once over, make sure everything was where it needed to be. And the one problem that he indicated he had was a leak from the oil tank. And guys, if you've done research on these 101s, you know that when they were first released, they had a bonded tank. And you can see that this oil tank doesn't have any screws on it at all, this cover. It was originally just epoxied in place. Well, these damn things had a habit of breaking loose, these and the fuel tanks. So if you were cutting, the bar pinched in a cut, and you reefed back to pull it out, that was enough to crack that seal. So a lot of these things were put on the shelf, thrown away, whatever, because of that. There was a kit released a little bit later with a new cover that you could put a couple screws through with a gasket. I went the other route on this. You can see that somebody has put JB Weld on here. That slowed the leak down. But what I did is use some red coat and line the entire oil tank. And that's not as hard as it actually sounds. Red coat is a great product as long as you do your prep work. So I cleaned it all out with some gasoline, and then they recommend acetone. Get it cleaned out good, let that dry. The good thing about using acetone is it evaporates quickly. So anyway, got a good liner in there. Pretty much have the leak stopped, other than just a smidge from around the oil cap right now. This is an oil cap from a Super XL that was previously installed. I put a nice Buna N rubber O-ring on it, but the flange just isn't quite thick enough, so there's still a slow seep from it, but got that dealt with. But you know, I was still getting a lot of oil pushing out through the bar pad, like somebody was sitting here pumping the manual oiler. And what I realized eventually, took me a bit to figure out what was going on, was that this check valve right here was actually bad. The spring was weak for whatever reason, and allowing it to push oil out. So anyway, other than that, the saw was in good shape. Got a nice starter rope on it. Can't remember, it's been a little bit since I worked on this. I think, yeah, installed a new grommet on the air filter, one of those that I've sourced. It's got a good fuel line. Put a new rim drive setup, clutch drum on this thing, so it's really ready to cut some wood. And I know Tom has indicated to me that that is the primary purpose of the saw. He does cut wood with this thing. So it's been sitting for probably at least 2 weeks since I fired it up last. Let's see how this goes. Not too bad. And richen up the low speed side just a tad. So anyway, Tom, this saw should be ready to go and treat you right. There's the drive case cover, just so everybody out there can see really how clean this saw is. That really shouldn't be missed here. This is an exceptionally good looking saw. The blue paint that Homelite used in the 60s was notorious for flaking off. And really coming off quick. So this saw has been well cared for. It's in good shape, it runs good, and Tom, we'll get this in the mail just as soon as possible.